Everybody ready?
Ready, ready, ready. Ready or
Music.
not.
Most likely every American has seen or heard about the devastation brought on by the double punch from the back-to-back hurricanes Helene and Milton. Today, we want to talk about the rules of the road during a mandatory evacuation, whether it's a hurricane or maybe even a blizzard. Hello and welcome to Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus podcast number 17. I'm your host, Jane Ubel, and we are going to focus on an observation from our social media expert and keeper of our enrichment activities, Natasha Johnson. She actually was one of the evacuees during Hurricane Milton. So I'm going to turn it over to her to talk about her insights from that adventure, because she wants to talk to, of course, veteran crash investigator and driver safety expert Mike Pehl about her experience. Natasha?
Yes. So, as Jane said, this is my personal story when I just recently evacuated from Hurricane Milton. The roads were horrific because everyone was trying to leave at once. After a while, I noticed a sign from the Department of Transportation that said, left shoulder open for use. My husband and I were a bit apprehensive at first, but after seeing a few vehicles driving on the shoulder, we decided to follow suit. Mike, have you ever heard of anything like this?
Yes. So, I mean, evacuations into from islands and the Florida coast and North Carolina or wherever you're at in the US, if there's an evacuation, they usually will open up the lanes to keep traffic flowing because, as you know, Natasha, it was a mess, right?
Yeah.
And when you only allow two lanes to go, it gets more of a mess. And all of a sudden, it's a standstill because every time when traffic's moving at 30 and you're bumper to bumper, and that right person wants to get over into the left lane, they force their way in. Well, what does that force all the left lane people to do? Brake all the way back for the next 70 miles. The brake
Mhm.
lights go on behind, and then it slows down to however slow it took this person to come in. So if we go back to the old rules of driving, when who's ever listening out there, grandparents, parents, whoever, the rule of thumb used to be for every 10 miles an hour, you'd have one car length between you and the other car. If we did that, do you guys realize we wouldn't have all this stop and go traffic? Because that would allow someone to move within their lane and everybody else adjusts without brake lights. So when you hit your brake lights, guess what? Everybody else hits theirs because they don't see what you see. But anyway, so to open up that lane or those other two lanes, we can get more people into, we can move faster. Bottom line is somewhere up the road, it's still going to bottleneck back in and
Mhm.
it's still going to back up. So I don't know how to say get the heck out of town when they tell you to. I don't
Oh,
know how to.
early.
Yes,
Yeah.
early because I mean, we live in Minnesota, so in Minnesota, we don't have evacuations. Tornado comes, you go underneath. I mean, our evacuation would be rush hour traffic that everybody has, and you just live with it. It's just frustrating. It lasts for an hour, and then you're done. We also in Minnesota, they'll open up a lane due to blizzards. We'll just talk blizzards.
Mhm.
Um,
Which is
and if that
coming, I
happens,
think.
to bring this into, a state that has snow, when we get a lot of snowfall and even if the plows do clear the road out, you still can't see lines. And that's why we start to follow tire patterns. And we'll talk more as winter comes in on this, but when we follow tire patterns, folks out there, passing becomes very treacherous when you're in a blizzard and you leave your tire pattern. Because once you come out of tire pattern in thick, heavy snow, your wheels will be grabbed by the non-tire pattern by where the snow has built up. And that's where people spin out and go in the ditch. So You know, it might take you another 20 minutes, but guess what? If you're in the ditch, it's 5, 8, 12 hours.
And
So,
cold.
Yes.
so think before you do whatever.
That's right. Well, again, even with blizzards, stay home, or if you have to get somewhere, go early.
Mhm.
You know, prior to the heat of the, I guess it wouldn't be called heat of the blizzard, but the height of the
Right.
blizzard. So,
So when I was a little kid, I grew up, or my grandpa owned a farm up in northern Minnesota, and they actually tied ropes from the house to the barn because in blizzards you would get lost just going from the house to the barn, so they would follow the rope because you got to get out and feed cows and pigs and all that. And so I was always that's always stuck with me is you know, hold on. And I have driven in a blizzard once where you can't see, where I did a really dangerous thing, but I had to do it. I had two little kids in the car, and I actually got out of the car. I had my wife drive, and I was walking alongside of her outside the car to keep that car from going off the road because we were stuck in a blizzard. So
wow.
yeah,
Man.
it was dumb. It was
Yeah,
just dumb because now I look back at that and say, we could have stayed another day.
right,
So,
right.
or we could have got out a day early, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
So it's well, let's wait where it's gonna go. Let's wait. I don't
Yeah.
know, but it is, and it's expensive to leave, isn't it, Natasha?
It sure
I
is.
mean, to evacuate, how long am I evacuating for? We got hotels. I mean, you know, McDonald's today is a $20 bill for one person or two people. You know,
Right.
I can't even imagine a family of five what they got to spend to eat out. So anyway,
Yeah. Well,
hopefully that helps out.
yeah. Well,
Yes.
you know, and we all are, you know, praying for the people who had devastation during these hurricanes. And for people, obviously, we want to make sure that they are safe. So
Yes, indeed.
anyway, that was good information, and know that you should keep space between you, and the far lane in an emergency will help move the traffic, I guess.
Yes, yes,
All right. Well, you know what? Thanks, Mike and Natasha. And of course, we are glad that you all are listening today. And before we sign off, we also want to tell you that we really appreciate you, and we hope that you will share our podcast with your friends and family. And you can email us your thoughts or your own driver observations or stories to drivesafe@gmail.com. If you're interested also in watching more of our podcasts, you can go to our website. We have drivesafe.ridesafe.com and click on the podcast link. And I guess until next time, remember to.
drives safe.
Ride safe.
All right. Well, we're a little rusty, but we got it. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time.